Late morning mist clung to the cemetery as a young woman knelt before a polished white headstone. Her maid's uniform was faded, her hands trembling. A single lily rested against the cold marble as tears streaked down her dark skin. A voice shattered the silence behind her. Sharp. Wounded. "That's my mother's grave. Who are you? And why are you crying here?" Lisa froze. She turned slowly. A man in a tailored suit stood there. Justin Blake, the millionaire philanthropist whose face filled every newspaper. His eyes held suspicion and something deeper. Pain. What was a poor housemaid doing sobbing over his mother's grave? Lisa wiped her cheeks, rising unsteadily. "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have come. You didn't answer me." He stepped closer. "How did you know my mother?" Lisa's fingers twisted nervously. "I didn't. Not personally. But she saved my life." Justin went still. "How?" "That's a long story. Welcome to Life in Stories, where every moment becomes a lesson wrapped in emotion. Before we dive in, hit subscribe and join our growing family. Tell me where you're watching from, your city, your country, your corner of the world. I love seeing our stories connect us all." The morning air bit through Lisa's thin uniform as she knelt frozen before the headstone. Her heart hammered against her ribs. She could feel his eyes burning into her back, demanding answers she wasn't sure she could give. "I asked you a question." Justin Blake's voice carried the weight of old grief sharpened by fresh suspicion. "How did you know my mother?" Lisa rose slowly, her legs unsteady beneath her. She kept her eyes fixed on the marble stone, unable to face him. The lily she had placed there seemed suddenly inadequate. Foolish, even. "I should go." She clutched her worn purse against her chest like a shield. "I'm sorry for disturbing you." She took a step toward the cemetery path, but Justin moved faster. His hand caught her elbow, not roughly, but firmly enough to stop her retreat. "You don't get to cry over my mother's grave and walk away without explaining yourself." His jaw tightened. "I buried her 8 months ago. I've stood at this grave dozens of times. I've never seen you before." Lisa finally looked at him. Up close, he seemed different from the polished photographs in magazines. Dark circles shadowed his eyes. His expensive suit couldn't hide the tension coiled in his shoulders. This was a man still drowning in loss. "Please," she whispered. "I meant no disrespect. Then tell me the truth." The truth. Lisa had carried it for 3 years like a secret treasure. She had never imagined sharing it with anyone, least of all Elena Blake's own son. "I never knew her personally." Lisa's voice trembled. "We only met once. But that one meeting, she saved my life." Justin's grip loosened slightly. Confusion replaced suspicion in his eyes. "What are you talking about? My mother was a private person. She never mentioned saving anyone." "She wouldn't have." Lisa pulled the letter from her apron pocket. Creased, worn soft from years of handling. "She didn't do it for recognition. She did it because she saw someone who needed help." Justin stared at the envelope. His mother's handwriting was unmistakable on the front. Elegant loops spelling out a single word. "Hope. Where did you get that?" Lisa closed her eyes, and the memories rushed back like a river breaking through a dam. 3 years earlier, Lisa had been 17 years old and invisible. She had been sleeping behind a bakery for 2 weeks, curled against the warm exhaust vent that kept her from freezing. Every night, she prayed she wouldn't be discovered. Every morning, she woke up surprised she had survived. That particular night had been the coldest yet. December wind howled through the alley, cutting through her thin jacket like paper. She had stopped shivering hours ago, and some distant part of her mind knew that was dangerous. Then footsteps approached. Soft, unhurried. Lisa tensed, preparing to run, preparing to fight if necessary. But the woman who appeared wasn't threatening. Silver hair framed a gentle face lined with smile marks. She wore a simple wool coat, and in her hands she carried a thermos and a folded blanket. "You must be freezing, sweetheart." Lisa said nothing. Trust was a luxury she had abandoned long ago. The woman didn't push. She simply sat down on an overturned crate a few feet away, opened the thermos, and poured steaming soup into the cap. Chicken noodle. My own recipe. She held it out. "Please. I can't stand watching you suffer." Hunger won over fear. Lisa accepted the soup with shaking hands, and warmth spread through her hollow stomach for the first time in days. The woman, Elena, though Lisa didn't know her name yet, stayed for nearly an hour. She didn't ask why Lisa was homeless. She didn't lecture or preach. She simply sat in comfortable silence, occasionally refilling the soup, wrapping the blanket around Lisa's shoulders. Before she left, Elena pressed an envelope into Lisa's frozen fingers. "No one deserves to go through life without someone rooting for them," she said softly. "I'm rooting for you." Inside the envelope was enough money for a week's rent and a handwritten letter. "Start again. You are worth more than the world has told you. Elena Blake." Lisa had kept that letter every single day since. She told Justin everything now, her voice cracking with emotion she had suppressed for years. He listened without interrupting, his expression shifting from skepticism to wonder to something that looked almost like pain. "That letter gave me hope," Lisa finished. "I used the money to rent a room, found work, finished school, built a life." She touched her faded uniform. "It isn't much, but it's mine, and I owe it all to her." Justin ran a hand over his face. "She never told me. Not once. She didn't need credit. She just needed to help." The cemetery fell silent except for the wind rustling through bare branches. Lisa straightened her shoulders. "I'm sorry for intruding. I wanted to thank her, even if she couldn't hear me." She turned to leave again, but Justin spoke. "Wait." Lisa paused. Why today? Why come to her grave now after all this time? The question struck deeper than he could have known. Lisa felt the weight of the past month crash down on her. The raised rent, the cut hours, Leo's pale face as he struggled to breathe, the hospital's cold refusal without payment. "Because I'm drowning again," she admitted quietly. "And I needed to remember that someone once believed I was worth saving." Justin studied her for a long moment. Something shifted in his eyes. Recognition, perhaps. Or purpose. "Come with me," he said finally. Lisa blinked. "What?" "My mother helped you once. Let me finish what she started." Lisa stared at Justin Blake as if he had spoken a foreign language. The cemetery wind whipped between them, carrying the scent of fresh earth and dying flowers. "You don't know me," she said carefully. "You don't owe me anything." "Maybe not." Justin's voice was quieter now, the sharp edge softened. "But my mother clearly saw something in you worth saving. I'd like to understand what that was." Lisa wanted to refuse. Every instinct screamed that accepting help from a millionaire would only lead to disappointment. People like her didn't belong in the world of people like him. But then she thought of Leo. His rattling cough. His fever-bright eyes. The hospital's cold dismissal echoing in her ears. No payment, no treatment. "My brother is sick," she heard herself say. "Really sick. The hospital won't help without money I don't have." Justin nodded once, decisively. "Then we start there." The drive to Justin's estate took 40 minutes. Lisa sat rigid in the passenger seat of his sleek black car, watching the city give way to coastal hills. She had called her neighbor Mrs. Patterson, who was watching Leo, and explained she was bringing help. The older woman had sounded skeptical but relieved. When they arrived at the estate, Lisa's breath caught in her throat. The mansion rose against the cliff like something from a dream. White stone walls gleamed in the afternoon sun. Manicured gardens stretched toward the ocean, where waves crashed against rocks far below. It was beautiful and terrifying in equal measure. Justin's staff emerged as the car pulled up. A butler, 2 maids, a groundskeeper, all wearing expressions of polite confusion as they watched their employer help a woman in a faded uniform from the vehicle. "Mr. Blake." The butler stepped forward. "We weren't expecting guests. Prepare the guest house, Thomas." Justin was already moving toward the entrance. "And call Dr. Morrison. Tell him it's urgent." Lisa followed in a daze. Within an hour, she found herself standing in a guest cottage larger than any apartment she had ever rented. Leo lay in a clean bed with crisp white sheets, his small body finally relaxing as the doctor examined him. "Lung infection," Dr. Morrison confirmed, removing his stethoscope. "Serious, but treatable. He needs antibiotics, rest, and proper nutrition. I'll have everything delivered within the hour." Lisa's knees nearly buckled with relief. "Thank you. I'll find a way to pay. It's handled." Justin stood in the doorway, arms crossed. "Focus on your brother." She wanted to argue. Pride demanded it. But Leo's peaceful sleeping face silenced her protests. The first week passed in a blur of medication schedules and anxious bedside vigils. Leo's fever broke on the 4th day. By the 7th, color had returned to his cheeks, and he was demanding to explore the gardens. Lisa couldn't sit idle. Gratitude burned through her like fire, demanding action. She began waking before dawn, slipping into the main house to help wherever she could. She polished silver until it gleamed. She organized the library's scattered books. She swept the terrace overlooking the sea. The staff watched her with curious eyes but said nothing. Justin watched her too. Lisa felt his gaze following her as she worked. Not suspicious, not predatory, but thoughtful. Studying her like a puzzle he couldn't quite solve. One morning, she discovered the rose trellis behind the kitchen garden. The wooden frame had rotted in places, the climbing roses tangled and overgrown. But beneath the neglect, Lisa recognized careful planning. Someone had loved this garden once. She began repairs without asking permission. Found tools in the gardening shed. Replaced broken slats. Pruned dead branches. Coaxed the surviving roses back toward the light. She planted those roses the year I was born. Lisa startled, nearly dropping her pruning shears. Justin stood at the garden's edge, hands in his pockets, watching her work. "I'm sorry." She stepped back from the trellis. "I should have asked." "Don't apologize." He moved closer, eyes fixed on the roses. "No one has touched this garden since she died. I couldn't bring myself to let anyone near it." Lisa understood. Some grief was too sacred for strangers. "She mentioned it in her letter," Lisa said softly. "She wrote that roses taught her patience. That beautiful things need time to grow." Justin's expression flickered. "You really have read that letter many times." "Every day." Lisa touched her apron pocket where the worn envelope rested. "For 3 years, it was the only proof I had that someone believed in me." Silence stretched between them. Not uncomfortable. Heavy with unspoken understanding. Leo's recovery brought unexpected joy to the estate. The 8-year-old boy had endless curiosity and zero sense of social boundaries. He asked Justin about everything. The ships on the ocean, the books in the library, the stars visible from the terrace. Justin answered every question with surprising patience. Lisa watched from doorways as the millionaire knelt beside her brother, explaining constellations or helping with arithmetic homework. She saw him slip extra tutoring materials into Leo's room. Noticed how he adjusted his schedule to be present during Leo's lessons. "He's brilliant," Justin told her one evening. "With proper education, he could do anything." Lisa's throat tightened. "We never had money for proper anything." "You do now." She wanted to protest again, but the look in Justin's eyes stopped her. Not pity, but recognition. He saw potential where others saw poverty. That night, Lisa found Justin standing beneath the restored rose trellis. Moonlight silvered the new blooms she had coaxed back to life. "You remind me of her," he said quietly, not turning around. "More than anyone else ever has." Lisa's heart stumbled. "I'm just a maid." "No." Justin finally looked at her. "You're proof that her kindness still lives." The black Mercedes arrived without warning on a Tuesday afternoon. Lisa was trimming roses near the garden gate when she heard the crunch of tires on gravel. She looked up to see a sleek car gliding toward the mansion, its windows tinted dark against the coastal sun. Something cold settled in her stomach. She had learned to recognize trouble long before it announced itself. The driver opened the rear door, and a woman emerged like a queen surveying conquered territory. Silver blonde hair swept into a perfect chignon. Designer coat draped over angular shoulders. Eyes that calculated value with a single glance. Victoria Blake had arrived. Lisa recognized her from photographs in Justin's study. His mother's younger sister, a woman who had married into old money and never looked back. She carried herself with the particular confidence of someone who had never been hungry, never been desperate, never been invisible. Those calculating eyes found Lisa immediately. "And who?" Victoria said, her voice carrying across the garden like a blade. "Is this?" Lisa retreated to the guest house, her hands trembling as she folded laundry that didn't need folding. Through the window, she watched Victoria sweep into the mansion. Watched the staff scatter before her like leaves before a storm. An hour passed. Then 2. Leo napped peacefully in the bedroom, his breathing finally clear and easy after weeks of recovery. Lisa should have felt grateful. Instead, dread coiled tighter with each passing minute. When voices drifted through the open window of the main house, Lisa knew she shouldn't listen. She listened anyway. Completely inappropriate Justin. Victoria's voice was sharp enough to cut glass. "A strange woman living in your guest house? With her child? What exactly is happening here? He's her brother, not her child. And she's not a stranger." Justin's tone held an edge Lisa had never heard before. She knew mother. Victoria laughed, a cold, dismissive sound. "Oh, please. She knew your mother? How convenient." A poor, desperate young woman appears at Elena's grave with a touching story and suddenly she's living in luxury. It's not like that. Then what is it like? Because from where I'm standing, it looks exactly like a con artist exploiting your grief. Silence stretched. Lisa pressed her hand against her chest, willing her heart to slow. "She has proof," Justin said finally. "A letter in mother's handwriting." Letters can be forged. Stories can be invented. "Justin, darling, I know you miss Elena. We all do. But this girl is using your pain to climb into a life she doesn't deserve. You don't know her. I know her type." Victoria's voice dripped with certainty. "She's trying to replace your mother. Worming her way into this house, into your heart, pretending to carry on Elena's legacy. It's manipulation pure and simple. She's trying to replace Elena." The words struck Lisa like physical blows. Her vision blurred. Her chest constricted until breathing became a conscious effort. Old ghosts rose from shallow graves in her memory. Her stepfather's voice. "You're a burden. You ruin everything you touch." Foster homes that returned her like defective merchandise. The boyfriend who took her savings and disappeared, calling her worthless from the doorway. She's trying to replace your mother. Lisa's knees buckled. She sank onto the guesthouse floor, pressing her fist against her mouth to muffle the sob that tore from her throat. She was poison. She had always been poison. And now she was contaminating the memory of the only person who had ever shown her unconditional kindness. That night, Lisa didn't sleep. She sat in the darkness of the guesthouse bedroom, watching Leo's peaceful face in the moonlight. Her brother had color in his cheeks again, strength in his small body, hope in his eyes when he talked about the future, a future Justin had made possible. But Victoria was right about one thing. They didn't belong here. Lisa had spent her entire life being unwanted. She knew how to recognize when her presence had become a burden. She knew how to leave before the rejection came. At midnight, she began packing. Her hands moved automatically, folding clothes she had washed in Justin's machines, gathering books Leo had borrowed from Justin's library. She left behind everything Justin had given them. The new clothes, the medications, the small gifts that had accumulated over weeks of unexpected generosity. She kept only Elena's letter. That, at least, was truly hers. On the guesthouse table, she placed a folded note. "Thank you for everything. I won't trouble you any more." The words were inadequate. But words had never saved her. Only leaving had. "Lisa." Leo's sleepy voice pierced the darkness. "What are you doing?" She knelt beside his bed, forcing her voice steady. "We have to go, sweetheart." "Go where?" He sat up, confusion clouding his eyes. "It's still nighttime." "I know. But we need to leave quietly." "Why?" Leo's voice rose with panic. "Did we do something wrong?" "No, baby. We just—" Lisa's throat closed around the lie. "We don't belong here. But Justin said we could stay. He said he'd help me with my project. He promised." "Leo." Lisa gripped his shoulders gently. "Please. Trust me." Tears spilled down her brother's cheeks. "I don't want to go. I like it here. I like Justin. Please, Lisa, don't make us leave." Each word was a knife in her heart. But Lisa had survived worse pain than this. She had to. "Get dressed," she whispered. "Quickly." Dawn painted the sky in shades of rose and gold as Lisa and Leo walked down the long gravel driveway. The worn suitcase dragged behind them, its wheels catching on stones. Leo cried silently, clutching Lisa's hand with desperate strength. Lisa didn't look back. Looking back meant hoping. And hope, she had learned, was the cruelest weapon of all. Behind them, the mansion's windows caught the morning light like watching eyes. Inside, Justin Blake found a folded note on an empty table, and began to run. Justin's hands shook as he read the note for the third time, as if the words might somehow change. "Thank you for everything. I won't trouble you any more." The guest house was stripped bare of their presents. No clothes in the closet. No books on Leo's nightstand. No worn letter tucked beneath Lisa's pillow. They had vanished like ghosts who had never truly been there at all. "No." The word tore from his throat. "No, no, no." He ran. Through the garden where Lisa had restored his mother's roses. Past the terrace where Leo had asked endless questions about stars. Down the gravel driveway where fresh wheel tracks from a dragged suitcase carved thin lines toward the gate. His car roared to life. Tires scattered stones as he sped toward the main road, his heart pounding with a fear he hadn't felt since the night his mother died. He couldn't lose them. Not like this. Not because of Victoria's poison words. Justin drove through every street between his estate and the city center. He checked the cafe where Lisa had worked, closed for renovation. He stopped at the condemned building where she had rented a room. Empty, the landlord shrugging with indifference. Desperation clawed at his chest. They had no money. No resources. No safe place to go. Where would a woman with nothing take a child she was trying to protect? The bus station. Justin pressed the accelerator to the floor. He found them on a metal bench beneath a flickering departure sign. Lisa sat perfectly still, her arms wrapped around Leo, who had cried himself into exhausted silence against her shoulder. The worn suitcase rested at their feet like a tombstone marking the death of hope. Lisa stared at the timetable board with hollow eyes. Destinations scrolled past. Cities she couldn't afford, futures she couldn't reach. Justin slammed the car door. The sound echoed across the empty station like a gunshot. Lisa's head snapped up. Her eyes widened with something between terror and longing. "Why?" Justin's voice cracked as he strode toward them. "Why did you leave?" Lisa stood slowly, positioning herself between Justin and Leo like a shield. Old instincts. Old fears. You don't need my problems, she whispered. Your aunt was right. I don't belong in your world. I never did. Victoria doesn't speak for me. She speaks the truth. Lisa's voice broke. I'm a burden. I've always been a burden. Your mother showed me one moment of kindness, and I've been clinging to it like a lifeline for 3 years. That's not strength, that's desperation. Justin stepped closer. You think accepting help makes you weak? I think I'm taking from you. From her memory. I'm inserting myself into a life that isn't mine because I'm too broken to build my own. That's not what I see. Then what do you see? Lisa's tears fell freely now. A poor maid who showed up crying at your mother's grave? A charity case living in your guest house? Someone trying to replace the woman you lost? The words hung between them like shattered glass. Justin closed the remaining distance. His hands found her shoulders. Gentle, steady, certain. I see someone who carries my mother's kindness more honestly than half her relatives ever did. His voice was raw with emotion. Victoria has her portrait in the dining room. She gives speeches at charity galas in Mother's name. But she never once sat with a homeless teenager in the cold. She never wrote letters telling strangers they were worth saving. Lisa shook her head. I can't replace her. You're not replacing her. Justin's grip tightened. You're reminding me who she actually was. Not the society woman. Not the philanthropist. The person who believed that kindness didn't need an audience. A small hand tugged at Justin's jacket. Leo looked up at him with red-rimmed eyes, his small face streaked with tears and desperate hope. Please don't let us go, he whispered. Please. Justin knelt before the boy. Eye to eye. Heart to heart. I won't, he promised. Never. The cemetery was quiet in the late morning light. Justin placed a single white rose on his mother's headstone. Lisa stood beside him, clutching the lily she had brought weeks ago. Now dried but still precious. Mom, Justin said softly. I think you were helping me long before I understood it. You sent me someone who knows what your kindness really meant. Someone who doesn't just remember you, she lives like you. Lisa knelt and placed her dried lily beside his rose. Thank you, she whispered to the stone. For seeing me when I was invisible. For believing I was worth saving when I had stopped believing it myself. Justin reached down and took her hand. Lisa didn't pull away. You're not replacing her, he said quietly. But you're showing me how she lived, through you. Lisa's fingers tightened around his. I think she'd be proud of us, Justin continued. Wherever she is. Lisa looked at the grave, at the roses, at the man standing beside her offering something she had never dared to want. She already is, she whispered. 3 months later, a hand-drawn picture hung in Justin's hallway. Leo had spent weeks perfecting it with colored pencils and fierce concentration. 3 figures stood beneath a blooming rose trellis. A tall man, a young woman, and a small boy, all holding hands beneath cascading pink flowers. Below the image, in Leo's careful handwriting, we didn't replace anyone. We became a family. Justin found Lisa standing before the drawing one evening, tears sliding silently down her cheeks. He's got talent, Justin said softly, moving to stand beside her. He's got hope, Lisa corrected. That's what you gave him. What you gave both of us. Justin took her hand, leading her through the garden to the restored rose trellis. Evening light gilded the blooms Lisa had coaxed back to life. Elena's roses, thriving once more. I think she'd be proud of us, Lisa, he said quietly. Lisa leaned into him, finally allowing herself to belong. She already is. Thank you so much for watching today's story. Your support means everything. If the story touched you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more heartfelt moments. Drop a comment and let me know your thoughts. Your voice helps this community grow. See you in the next story.